Folks, welcome back to the iHealth channel, iHealth Radio, the FinFab channel, the Nutritious channel. We're going to talk wellness, health, fun stuff today with my guest. We're even going to talk some business, because she is a creative, innovator, I would say, CEO who started a company that does great things to help people live better, I would say. So Tammy Nevin is our actual guest today, and she's the founder of Happy Soul Wellness. Again, dedicated to making wellness accessible and enjoyable for everyone. Now, wellness can be, tricky and difficult sometimes. I think we're gonna have the magic formula on how to do this, while having a good time. So, without any further ado, Tammy, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh no, listen, the pleasure is mine, and this is my world. I love health and wellness, and so you're really in the core of that, and we need that. We need a lot of it. I mean, I've stated this a few times in previous shows, but the reason I even started iHealth Radio and the iHealth channel is because I didn't think there was. We have the weather channel, but we don't have something that is for health, like a real channel for health radio. We have talk shows, we have different things here and there, but I try to do something where it's a form, formal, like it's to a level, and so that's kind of like what kind of prompted me to start all this. And so I'm in this, for the duration because I love this. And I think we all need a little bit of one, especially in a world where our food, our, habits, everything is not really where it needs to be. And we can see around us, there's a lot of health crises, everywhere.
Yes,
So Tammy, let's start where they all started with your journey that got you into creating your company.
Well, so I had been a real estate agent, and during COVID, all heck broke loose during COVID. A lot of people stayed home. The world kind of stopped for many people, but it did not for real estate agents. So it got, there was probably a 2-week period where we were home. We didn't know what was going on. And then people wanted to start looking at houses, shockingly. But so it got really, really busy during that time. And I was also caring for my ailing mother and father-in-law. So she had Parkinson's, he had dementia. My husband's an only child. And of course, the brunt of it was on me while also raising children. So I just got really burnt out. I mean, it all started just from being burnt out and trying to find products that I could use in my home, on my own time, on my own schedule, which usually meant at 10 o'clock at night. So when everything else calmed down, so I could just breathe and kind of have me time. So it just started from that. I started searching, and I found a lot of things that were either really expensive or just cheaply made. I couldn't really find an in between. So and then that's when I came upon red light therapy and the benefits of red light therapy and how that can help all kinds of people with all kinds of issues. And I'd never heard of it. I'm in a small town in Wisconsin, and the nearest spa is like 45 minutes from us. So it's not something that I just knew about. So that's where it started. And I just got a wild hair, like I need to let people know about this and how awesome this is. And I just started doing a ton of research, and that's kind of where it all started.
Well, there's quite a bit there. So first things first, I mean, real estate, I mean, it's listen, that's a world I've been as well into. I mean, I that when I mentioned earlier before we started the show that I had a business, I had a real estate school.
Oh.
I mean, one of a few, but that was kind of like one of the longest businesses we've had. And so real estate has always been, I mean, I think I got my license in 96, when I first started.
Oh, sure.
It was an interesting world, and it is still, it goes up and down. There's plenty of action in there. And it's a perfect, job sometimes. And this is just talking about the business side of it. When you have, I guess, responsibility, gives you good flexibility. There's good potential of earning, and but I do find it very interesting that in COVID, people still want to
I
show and see
know.
houses. I mean, people were like scared of everybody else. So that I found that fascinating and
Yeah.
very interesting. I mean, intriguing. But it is what it is, right? I mean, it was real, and you did that.
Mhm.
But then here's the thing: you're right. You got burned. I mean, burnout is a very uh, a real thing. And we've had actually a couple of
Mhm.
shows about burnout, and we had one about burnout in the medical field, and we had burnout just in business and how it affects your mental health and your physical health and stuff. And sometimes it can be very detrimental to how you operate, right? And
Yeah.
so you kind of found that, and you wanted solutions. And by the way, I kind of understand, your position, because I am an only child, and my wife helps as well with my mom. And she's an elderly. Her father is, getting, also in that age where we need a lot of help. So it's the difficult place, and it is difficult
Yeah.
sometimes to find, how to make and maneuver through this. But now you mentioned red light therapy. Now I had also a couple of shows about red light therapy, and it's a pretty cool, world as well. I mean, and it's real. It
Mhm.
does help. I mean, there's a lot of stuff from nature that there are practices that you can get a lot of red light, through nature. But now we have
Mhm.
it as equipment. We have it as spa stuff, that you can get, and you can deep
Yep.
dive, to bring that as well to our audiences. So let's talk about, so is happy soul wellness only for red light therapy, or do you do have more than stuff?
No.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's talk
Yep.
about the whole stuff, and then we can deep dive in each one of those components of your company.
Sure, sure. So it started out with red light therapy, and then doing more research. And I, at this time, I was into health and wellness a little bit. I just didn't have the time. I used to think that being like taking care of myself was selfish. So, I had three daughters, and I was always the last one to, I was the last one I thought of, I should say. So, and I know this happens with a lot of women with kids, so it started with red light therapy, and then just diving in and just so much more research. Then I came upon infrared saunas, infrared sauna blankets, the infrared heat, and how detoxifying that is and how good that is for you. So with that, I started looking into infrared sauna blankets. Dry brushing is a huge thing for detoxifying and lymphatic drainage, which lymphatic drainage is a very important step that everybody should take, that most people, I didn't know what the heck that was. And, prior to this, and just learning about all these things that you can do without popping pills and going to a spa, just these little things that you can do for yourself that don't take a lot of time either. So we also have a copper body brush. And copper, it's a powerful conductor of energy, and the friction that helps with dry brushing as well. So just digging deep more into things like that. So yeah, we have a couple. I have a dry facial brush too that also helps with lymphatic drainage, just helps with skin issues and things like that. But yeah, that I have other little red light therapy device, and definitely a clean wellness serum with blue tansy oil. Blue tansy is anti-inflammatory, and I wanted something that, you do all this good stuff for yourself, but then you put a bunch of crap on your face, and so I'm trying to slowly, with all clean products as well, just slowly, bit by bit, get into more of that as well.
Oh, well, thank you. I was, as you were talking, I was looking at the website, and that the products looks great, by the way. Uh,
Thank you.
they really look, I mean, the finish, product are beautiful. The packaging, the look, and everything. So you'll see it, folks, when you
Wonderful.
actually
Thank you.
check on the website. Again, my wife is into the same stuff, so I look at these things. They're
Yes.
fixed, and we've I mean, last year I did a show on the Beauty Expo, the Middle East Beauty Expo in Dubai, and there were like
Oh,
five, I forgot, 5,000 companies there. I mean, everything that you can
wow.
dream of in terms of, we've done a couple expos in the last 3 years, and that one I actually covered. And it was just a lot of stuff from
Oh
perfumes
my
to
goodness.
scenery to cosmetics to, the organic stuff, the oils. I mean, you name it, they had it. If you had to do with beauty, they had it there,
Oh,
and
how
it's like,
fun.
and it's everybody from all over the world. So it's pretty cool
Oh,
stuff. So I'm into this as well. So it's always great to look and see a good quality product. When you see one, it's just gets you excited. But I
yes.
wanted to say this. It's amazing. You said something very powerful that for our audiences, and I think many of us make that mistake. We probably all are guilty to a degree. And one being,
Hmm.
we don't take care of ourselves because we think everybody else is priority, and we're the
Yep.
last priority. Now that's, I get it. We got to take care because we feel accountable, responsible. But I think that's the mistake we all make. We kind of take a secondary position in terms of health until we start, realizing that this is not good. I'm not feeling right. Everything is not working here. I need to do something.
Hmm.
But the actual, I mean, the cliche one is that, in the airplane they tell you don't put your mask first, put it on
Yes.
your kids or whoever with you before you can put it on your face. That's the same concept. I mean, put it on yourself before you put it on,
Right.
someone else. So because you need to be physically fit to be able to assist. If you're not going to be able to assist. And that actually goes across all ourselves, out there. So if you're watching or listening, I think that's a big deal. We need to take care of ourselves. It's not selfish. Self-care is not
Hmm.
selfish at all. It is actually important. It is part of what we're supposed to be doing so we can do better for others. And that also for business, for personal, for life, for family, if you have a significant other, for your children, you cannot be a good support to anyone if you're not present and fully in your full capacity, right? Whether physical or
Yeah.
mental. By the way, those two things go hand in hand, and many times we affect those things if we don't do it right. And
Hmm.
and it can get you. And by the way, COVID, the pandemic in general affected everybody mentally, physically.
Yeah.
It was challenging. So besides
Yeah.
all that, I mean, there was just a lot of stuff, right? And
Hmm.
we know that. I mean, everybody. This is not something that was isolated. I think everybody around the world experienced.
Right.
There's no one that can say I have no idea what it was. If you
Hmm.
live and you're still on this planet today, you've been there. Unless you were born beyond that, like after that year, right? But even that, you can still feel some of the brunt of the actual
Yeah.
pandemic to date, right? So it's important. Now I love that the
Yeah.
concept that you've looked at different products and yes, I mean spas are great and you can go to them, but you're right. I mean, what if the spa is not available or it's too far out? In your
Hmm.
case, I mean, I love it's 45 minutes away. I mean, that's
Yeah.
pretty far. I mean, that's like wow. But I get it. I mean, when you go to the central states in general, I mean, the US is pretty big and these towns are like far apart from each other. And so yes, there's a lot of land to cover and it's different, right?
Yeah.
Now if you're in metropolitan areas, you probably can have a spa in every corner, but that's another story. Right? And even if you did, they're expensive. So,
Right.
that's, and by the way,
Yes.
we can go there because it's important. They have bigger equipment, different things, and they always innovate.
Hmm.
And you get a full treatment. But this is like do it yourself kind of concept, and it works. And you need something like that, on the go, when you
Yeah.
can, go places, or again, something on the budget. It doesn't matter. I mean, you have something,
Hmm.
and again,
Absolutely.
and pampering yourself is nothing. There's not to be ashamed of or to qualify as it's a secondary thing. It's priority, right? And I love what
Yeah.
you said. Like you're putting all this stuff, the makeups and stuff like that. Studies are showing that a lot of that stuff is not healthy at all. I mean, there's so much
Hmm.
bad bad contents, and ingredients in these products out there. Now again, there's good products and there's bad products, and I mean they look good, they do the job,
Yeah.
but what's in them? That stuff seeps into your skin. It disrupts sometimes the hormones. I
Yeah.
mean, there's was it phthalates, I think, in the fragrances. There's
Hmm.
all kind of stuff that's out there that can be an impact. And I mean, I was watching something a couple of days ago about the makeup and people are putting layers and layers of, especially I mean women. I mean, even guys, they do it these days, but women
Right, right.
specifically, they put a lot of, mascara, this, that, the other. And so it's layers, and that
Hmm.
stuff, if you don't cleanse that, that's all seeping into your skin. And again, you're not going to feel the
Yeah.
immediate effects, but there is, long term, maybe effects that can be there. So looking at those things are a great thing. So I love the concept that you want, like, wait a minute, we need to do something that is healthier. um, so why don't you break out a little bit, some of these products and the benefits, to the wellness of someone, I mean, you kind of, briefly mentioned some of the things, but let's deep dive a little bit to it so people can really see what the value for each one of those key
Hmm.
products, whether it's the brush, I
Sure.
mean, and there's a couple of things that I can see from a cupper and the brush itself, the serum and all the stuff. So let's kind of dive in. Let's pitch that.
Well, as far as red light therapy, so it can, there's so many facets to that. So for one thing, it can reduce pain and inflammation. If you have knee pain or shoulder pain or something, it actually has helped with that. That even people use it on their pets. So, pets that, have hip problems or something like that, it's been shown to help pets. It's not just on people that you can, horses. A lot of people use it on horses, but so reducing inflammation, and there's red light and infrared light, and the infrared light gets deeper into the cells, and it just rejuvenates your cells. There's also another benefit of helping with fine lines and wrinkles. And us women who are, in our, well, premenopause, we're, and that's one thing, when I started, it was like, oh, wow, this can help with lines and wrinkles. I mean, I was almost 50 years old, and it's like, okay, that's great. Because, we all get conscious about everything, as we age. Hair loss, it helps with hair loss even, and thinning hair. There's been studies that have shown that it helps grow hair back. So it's just one thing too. I mean, it just helps with inflammation, reducing inflammation. There's also other light therapies. It's not just red light. I mean, there's blue light, and it's certain nanometers, that you have to do. But the blue light helps with like acne. There's green light, that has been shown to help with dark spots. Purple light, which is a combination of blue and red light. So there's different light therapies that help with different skin issues as well. So that is like red light therapy. That's kind of the gist of that. There's just a lot of things that, so many things that that helps with. As far as the infrared sauna blankets, it's kind of like going to an infrared sauna. You have the far infrared heat, and the infrared heat is just, it's a deeper heat. It gets more into the cells than just regular heat. Studies have shown that. So, I mean, that helps, that increases circulation. So like after a workout, if you're sore with sore muscles and stuff, that has been shown to reduce inflammation in the body, and just deep relaxation. Just being in this hot sauna just makes you slow down and just relax. That's one big thing that just helps with me. So you have that, and then dry brushing. I mean, dry brushing has been around for thousands of years. They say Cleopatra used to dry brush, I mean, that exfoliates your skin, it gets rid of all the dead skin cells. That promotes circulation. And I know we talked about lymphatic drainage too. So that's a big thing. So those three things alone are great starters. Even one of them, if you can do one every night, before bed, before you take a shower, that will be, great for your body. Any one of them will be. So, like And also, like with us, we have our copper body brush, and it's actually horsehair bristles and copper bristles. And that just helps with the negative ions. And, and it helps, well, once again, it's circulation, and it's like, it's a conductor of energy, and that protects your skin from free radicals. So that's just another thing that, that will help. Just doing one thing, dry brushing, if that's all you have time for. So, and yeah, the clean
yeah, go
beauty.
ahead. Say that
I was
again.
just going to say, the blue tansy serum too, that's actually anti-inflammatory. The blue tansy oil has been known to reduce inflammation, and it has anti-inflammatory effects too. So never knew about blue tansy 10 years ago. So yeah, so a lot of good stuff.
Well, amazing. I mean, here's the thing. You said that you've done quite a bit of research to get here, and you've done that. I mean, these are literally things that you're mentioning that many people may not even know about these things. I mean, unless they're really into the things and the health and the wellness, they probably won't even know about these things, right? And they're available. They've been around. Some of these things, as you said, are millennia old, but they just haven't been practiced, especially not in the U.S. and maybe the Western parts of the world. I mean, in the Asian, cultures, maybe in the the Eastern cultures in general, you have a lot more of
Yeah.
that than actually in the Western cultures. And so you have these things that are kind of like ancient, and they've always worked, and people look great, and they live longer and they healthier. And you mentioned the word inflammatory and inflammation a couple of times. That is our biggest problem today. I mean, we are
Yes.
constantly, bombarded with information, through our foods, the toxins in the air, the toxins in our water, the toxins in our food, everything we do. And then the work that we do, we're all either sitting too much or moving too much or doing something, and your joints, everything. If you're working out too much, it's still the same. So we're impacted day in, day out, and we don't have a rest in life. I mean, unfortunately, especially in the US, I mean, just comparing the U.S. to Europe, for example, lifestyles are
Yeah.
completely different, right? And so we're just constantly go, 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 and we don't even take a moment to breathe, and that's the problem. Then we're taking all these extra stuff that is unnecessary, but it's
Yep.
fine, I guess. From alcohol to the bad food that's out there, that is really edibles that are synthetic, that are not with zero nutritious, fact, an effect. But
Yep.
unfortunately, we do that. It's part of what we are. But really, that's a big deal, right? So you touch on all the different things that most people may not have thought about as part of their daily routine to combat, inflammation. I mean, you're gonna. I think if you're listening and watching, you probably have some joint or something that may have some ailment. Now, if you're that young or younger, you might not think that your body has inflammation, or you may not feel it the same way. But as you transit in new age, it will be there. Trust me. There's no way out. I don't care
Yep.
how good you are, how well you work out, and all the stuff. You know, if you don't have, I mean, I had a show. If you don't take about 60 plus, vitamins and minerals and all your essentials and the peptides and all the stuff and the amino acids, guess what? Most of us are not. We are definitely deficient, and therefore we're gonna have problems. We don't have vitamin D enough. That's a big deal. And that's actually another one. Vitamin D,
Yes.
vitamins. It is a big full. Especially us in the northern corridor of the states.
Yep.
It's cold most of especially in the cold months. You get very little sun, and there's not enough. Even when you do, and again, we've been bombarded. Do not go on sun. SPF 100.
Yep.
So you're covered up with like there's nothing that coming through, and you're missing on that. So we've had a lot of different talks, and for those of you who are aware about wellness and stuff, you know what we're talking about here. These are things that we can really apply in daily lives that can make a difference in how we feel, how we look, and everything. I love what you said about the anti-aging or the wrinkles. It is part of life, folks. We're gonna age, but
Yeah.
but there is a process where you can stimulate your skin and all the stuff, collagens and things like that, and get a little bit more, lesser of those effects of aging. At least you don't not age, but you kind of slow the process, right? And so these things
Yeah.
are, and red light therapy has been shown to be proven as a tool. What you said about the brushing and exfoliating your skin, that's a practice that's been done in a lot of, not so. I'm originally from Morocco, and exfoliation of the body is a
Oh,
weekly,
cool.
tradition. I mean, literally back home,
Oh.
there's these, like the Turkish baths, they call them hammams, right? I mean, everybody, it's like, you have to go to these places, like public baths, like the Russian banya, right? You go in there,
Hmm.
and it's a big sauna steam room concept, and you sit there, and you have these exfoliating, gloves that you just kind of use on your skin and drop all that dead skin and kind of rejuvenate. And it's a tradition. I mean, it's not like,
That's awesome.
you must go, right? And it's actually the same thing in Turkey and, in Russia. I mean, those are like, if you have a Russian friend, or anybody
Hmm.
from the Eastern Europe, they'll tell you they probably have a sauna in their home,
Wow,
or steam
that's
room.
awesome.
They go to banya, because that's part of the daily life, and they know how to do that.
Hmm.
They do the cold
Yeah.
hot therapies and stuff. And so, but now with the technology, there's more of these practices at home, and so you can buy
Hmm.
these products such as the ones you have, and certainly enjoy a healthier skin, healthier body, less inflammation, more relaxation. As you said, I love the blanket. I mean, wrap me up, baby.
Yep.
It feels good if it's warm, and you just kind of like get yourself a nice little, uh,
Just sweat it out.
well, let me ask you, is that like, there, I mean, you can do it for a certain period of time, right? I mean,
Yep.
so,
Yeah. Yep. You like usually it's about 30 minutes or so,
oh,
but you
nice.
are sweating. And it's don't take it after you've taken a shower. I mean, always do it before you take a shower. So,
Listen, I love it because not everybody has access, again, as I said, sauna and steam room and stuff. So this
yeah.
could be in your, home. I mean, you can just blanket up and, sweat it
Yep.
out and get all that. And by the way, sweat, gets rid of, there's good, exchange. The waters are out of your body, the sodiums and all stuff. Now, of
Yeah.
course, you need to know how to do it. You can't do too much of that because you lose your,
Right.
your
Drink a lot of
electrolytes.
fluids.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's different things. So
Hmm.
always look, and read about how your body operates, and maybe talk to your, I guess, physician, because
Sure.
that's always a
Yeah.
big recommendation. You
Yes.
don't change things in your health without getting some advice. Most of the stuff is
Hmm.
safe, but again, some conditions
Hmm.
may be deterrents. I don't know.
Yep.
So you just have to be
Yeah.
careful. Like when you,
Absolutely.
yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, with that point, as far as red light therapy goes, too, there are people that have light issues, light sensitivity. So that is definitely something where they should check with their provider, or they're taking medication and they're sensitive to light. So that is something, light therapy is it's very rare that anything's going to happen. I mean, it doesn't have a lot of side effects at all, but if you have sensitivity to light, that might be something that might not work for you.
So with light therapy, I saw there's a couple of things you have. You have a mask, you have, different things. So
Hmm.
for the body, for the face. So it's pretty cool. I mean, I've seen actually those masks. They're cool. They're awesome. I mean, you put them on and you throw in that light and
Yeah.
stuff. I had a great guest, who actually also has a product, red light product out there, and and it's pretty good stuff. I mean, it's just awesome, technology that works. And you're right, for inflammation stuff, it's just big deal. So this stuff that you have is definitely something that people around the house can use. And I'm looking, even
Yeah.
the price is right too. So just for those people that
Yep.
are out there, sometimes you get great quality, and you get the right results. And it's you don't want to go to a doctor, or to the emergency room, with problems, if you can actually resolve that. Now, again, you go to a doctor if
Hmm.
you need to go, but certainly not, just to avoid some inflammation. If you can do it yourself and feel better, because your motion is going to be better and everything's going to be better.
Absolutely. Yeah. And try that before you take pills, it doesn't hurt. So it can only help you.
Oh, you mentioned that earlier, so I want to touch on that, because I think traditionally we've been almost conditioned to, your you get sick, you're a doctor, you get prescribed some drug, and it is a process.
Yep.
Drugs do work, but their work is really patchwork. I
Hmm.
mean, they'll mask the
Yeah.
symptoms, they'll probably prevent some of the stuff, but then there's addiction to them. There's all kind of other side effects and things like that. So it might be potentially needed, but I'm not a big fan personally. So if I can avoid, unnecessary medication, I would do it. But certainly there have
Yeah.
been cases where I had no choice to take medications, and again, it depends. Now, if I can take a little bit of pain without a Tylenol, I will do it. Believe me, But I've been in, like, for example, I had a kidney stone one time, and
Ooh.
nothing could have
Ugh,
helped
yeah.
it. So I had to get something in me to at least diffuse that pain until I passed that
Yeah.
stone. So sometimes you have no choice. It is necessary, but it's temporary.
Right.
But a lot of this stuff, for example, even in my case, when I mentioned this, unfortunately, in my younger days, I used to drink a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have drunk then,
Mhm.
and eating stuff
Me
that I
too.
shouldn't, and so at the time, yeah, you don't realize it, but eventually that stuff, you're kind of sensitive, so your kidney forms these stones, and so now once you have it once, you can have it twice, and so I've had it already twice in my
Mhm.
life, and it's a very, very painful process. I can tell you
Yeah.
guys, again, if anyone has experienced it, I'm talking about. If you haven't, please avoid it at all costs. I mean, it is not fun at all as an experience.
Mhm.
So and luckily, it can get resolved, but depends on the size of that thing. You need surgery, you
Yeah.
need other
Yeah.
interventions. So again, that's just an example. But the fact is, preventative is where I'm going. If we do the right thing to prevent a lot of this stuff, we might not even need to get into the drugs and stuff. But certainly there's
Mhm.
alternative medicine, there's holistic stuff, there's herbal stuff, there's technology that can help, you get the same results without popping, some drug or some chemistry stuff in your body that is affecting your bloodstream, your kidneys, your liver, and all the stuff. I mean, a lot of the stuff are toxins. Basically, they might solve one problem, and it's amazing because you guys watch news, watch TV, you watch a commercial, you watch a commercial about any medication, there's a big little it's a small one, but it's a huge
Yeah.
disclaimer, like, and it goes and what you hear at the end is like, it can cause, including that and this and that. And I mean, ooh, so do you want to go there?
Mhm.
Maybe not. So again, I love what you said, that if we can avoid having a pill, well, we can do things that are natural. In essence, that's a better way, and I think everybody can agree to that. So thank you. I just wanted to highlight that point that you mentioned. Now, the good news is I'm looking at your stuff, and it's pretty good stuff. How? I mean, now we talk business. How did you get? I mean, I listen. I've been out there trying to find products and things, and be able to do stuff. I mean, from the packaging to, it is not an easy process. So you are able to do this stuff.
No.
You know, it's pretty good stuff. It's hard out there, right? I mean, how hard was it for you? I mean,
It
it's
is.
what would you tell
There's a
people?
lot of, yeah, there's a lot of trial and error. And if I would have told myself on the back end of it, of all the issues I would have had, because I had a lot. I had a lot of issues, especially when you're trying to sell red light therapy, like on Amazon. All my products are on Amazon. They are very strict, which they should be. It's I just want you to know, Amazon is strict, with who they let sell these things. So they should be, but I was going in blind. And I learned a lot, and it took months and months of going back and forth, on different things that I needed, that I didn't have. And all the issues, like if I would have told myself before I started, I don't know if I would have done it, because it would have been so much. But I'm glad I did, of course, just because it's been very challenging, but I've learned so much. I mean, I've learned just a ton. So yeah, I tried sourcing red light therapy from the United States, because I wanted, of course, all my products to be from the United States. But unfortunately, I just couldn't find anyone. They're just not as advanced, at least anyone that I've talked to, as like Asia is. So they've just been doing it for a long time. They know what they're doing. So I just started sourcing and emailing a lot of people. So did a lot of research, watched a lot of YouTube videos, to tell you the truth. on how to source and high quality products and what to do. So, yeah, that's how it got started.
Well, Tammy, I got to tell you, I can relate to your agony and your long journey in working with Amazon and just finding the right products because, you know, people that follow us for the last few years, they know that my wife has a cosmetic, line, and it's like oils and stuff, for the skin and shampoos. And equally, we were at Amazon, and they're very picky. The process. I mean, sometimes I see these little reels, and oh, you can make money for $20, and go to Amazon. Yeah, you could, but they don't tell you like what it takes to actually have your product on Amazon, how difficult, and your
Yeah.
receipt and approvals, and if you do FBA versus not, and all the stuff that takes place in there, and the approval process, and the stuff, and the description, the pictures, the whole thing. There's a whole thing, and you get
Yeah.
kickback products, and you got to figure out how to deal with them, and you put a chat, thing, and to support. They get back to you. I'm not going to give you the whole thing, and it's hard to talk on the phone. So it's not as easy as folks as you think, and it is
No.
challenging. But I love what you said. That had you told yourself, you would have probably not started. But it's good that you did, because at the end of the day, that's actually the journey of every entrepreneur. It is not easy. Most people
No.
see the success when you're out there and everything is peachy, but nobody sees how hard was it to actually get to find the source as a reliable source. That's the other thing. I mean,
Right. Yes.
they have to be reliable. They have to be available. They have to be, provide the right quality, and you got to get, past all as you said, the scrutiny, whether it's through your customs here or through your, just the Amazon, people, right? In this case. And even if you have your own website, then you have to go through the whole thing. Now, Amazon works better for a lot of people because they handle a lot of the stuff for you. You don't have to do stuff. You ship them things, they have them, and they do this. And then that's the other thing in Amazon people don't realize. Like you can be on Amazon, nobody buys your products because your ranking is just like Google.
Oh,
If you're not on the top page,
yeah.
you're not even going to be there. There's products out there that are already doing this. And there's a lot of forms and stuff. And if you want to have a store in Amazon, that can be actually something, and you have to trademark. And so there's a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
folks. And we can have a whole show about just how to go on Amazon. And believe me, I spent years working with that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well,
It's
and yeah, I was going to say, so my very first product, I made this product, I had this product made exactly how I wanted it. It took months and months and months. And that was the very first one. And in the meantime, while I was waiting, I was, doing this other stuff. But the product that I waited for it was almost a year in the making. When it finally got shipped to Amazon, the battery was too small for the product. It was not the quality, like something was wrong. So that was a whole headache, because it's like I started getting a couple bad reviews and I'm like, what? This is a great product. And come to find out, the battery wasn't big enough so that, and that's the last thing I want, is to have a bad product. That was the whole reason I started this, to have high quality products that were affordable, that would last a long time. And that was devastating, because this took, back to the drawing board. And they never did get it right. So I had to pull that product, and, dealing with all of that issue on that end. So yeah, you learn in business, and if it's not right, you got to start over. You got to pivot, and I pivoted a lot. I had a patent. Someone claimed a patent on my red light therapy belt, and that got resolved. But that was another, probably 5 or 6 months of dealing with that. So.
Tammy, thank you for sharing this, because for our young entrepreneurs, or entrepreneurs in general, who are really just looking into business, by the way,
Yeah.
that's a beautiful thing. And but know that these things will be. And someone can say, well, maybe you didn't plan correctly. Trust me, folks, you plan all this stuff.
Yes.
And then when you get into the real, it's like, having a theory course and then get into the trenches. Two different things. Learning about, I'm going to give the worst case scenario example. War, right? It's one thing to be in the war versus to just watch it on the news, right? Or watch it on TV. Not the
Sure,
same.
yeah.
Nothing is what it seems, right? So in this business, or, in the world of business, it's not easy. I mean, I mentioned, the expo, right? By the way,
Yeah.
it's a great source for you. So you might
I
want
would
to,
love to go someday. Oh my gosh, that'd be
yeah,
awesome.
it's actually going to happen at the end of the month. So
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
yeah,
Maybe next year.
but I think they have one that is organic, in December. But they have them all over the world. There's also one in Anaheim that's a big one in California that's annual. So there's Vegas.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there's
That's
different
good to
ones,
know.
but they come from all over the world. But
Oh,
but but
that's
but
awesome.
but it's really you get all the different manufacturers, all the different concepts out there, all the new tech, and there's I'm telling you, they were like it's one of the biggest complexes in the actual place there. I mean, it's a big expo
Wow.
space. They had like eight literally expo places where these things were, and you can spend. It was 3 days, and you would not stop. Everywhere you go, there's something, and they
Oh,
have
cool.
and they have demonstrations and a lot of stuff. So here's the thing, your work, your journey, your difficulty is something to be expected. But what I
Hmm.
love is that you're resilient. You didn't give
Yeah.
up, and you're right. These things do happen. I mean, with the patent, for example, that's a big deal. Anyone who's been anyone who has gone through the patent process would know. Now, I do because I do have actually an invention, and I've gone through the
Oh,
process.
good for you.
And so it takes time, it takes money. There's research
Hmm.
that needs to be done for and then you might not even like my invention didn't go anywhere. I mean, I have it, but because I didn't create a prototype, and I'm still trying to find a license for it. But I'm not pushing it
Mm.
as much as I did in the beginning. So I hired a company to do these things. But it is a difficult process, when you deal with these things. Trademark itself can be a problem, right? Where,
Oh,
you
yes.
trade out your name. I mean, I love your logo, and that's the other thing. Like as simple as that, people don't even realize what it takes to your logo, your packaging. These things are
Oh,
real.
yeah.
And
Absolutely.
it takes a lot finding the right stuff, right? And I love what you said, the quality, because again, if you're gonna sell in
Hmm.
the U.S., you want high grade stuff, right? And
Hmm.
you don't want things that are flimsy, they're gonna break easy. So you want to push, the whole concept here. But it takes a lot of work. So as a person, you have to do a lot of work. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And as a leader of the company, as the one that's investing time and money, you don't want to fail, but you got to keep going.
Hmm.
That's the other thing. Once you're in, it's a very difficult time to go back. It's
You
like
can't.
there's no pushback here. You're going forward. You got to make it work. And
Oh
that's all there
yeah,
is.
yeah. It's all I bootstrapped it, I mean, it's all bootstrapped. So it's like there's no I yeah, I have to go forward. Like I can't, there's no way that I can quit. So that wasn't even an option for me whatsoever.
But here's the good news. You are ahead of the game now. You've discovered there's plenty of ways to expand your business. Once you're already set and you're in motion, and you mentioned something important about the review, especially in Amazon. There's just, I mean,
Oh
listen,
yeah.
Amazon, for example, runs these programs where you can give free products and there's refunds and stuff like that, or people get free products to promote you to review or stuff. There's all kind of things. You need to really hire someone who actually knows how to market Amazon. There are
Hmm.
people that are expert in how Amazon works in their marketing strategy. So there's quite a bit of stuff that's out there. But you're right, reviews is everything today. You have a bad review, people may not look at your product,
Yeah.
because that's what people look. You got five same products in Amazon today. I mean, I do a lot of Amazon stuff, and you look at it,
Yeah.
and you look at which one has how many reviews, and what's the star
Hmm.
rating. If it's like 5,000 and 4 stars is better than 304 stars, or 303
Right.
stars. So you got to look at all these things, and simple. It couldn't be just now. Amazon is good about filtering the real reviews and bad reviews and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's people, what they see is what they see, right? And so it's difficult.
I know. Yeah.
Now you also sell through your website, so that's also good, And I'm not sure if you use Shopify or
Yep.
as another venue.
Yep.
TikTok.
Yep. Yep.
All right. So
You
so
know, I actually I'm on the TikTok shop, but I haven't done anything with it.
well,
I
well
need
so
to.
there's you can actually there's agencies that you don't have to do much. You have them work for you and they promote your product for you. So
I
I
need to
mean,
really look more into that because
yeah.
I know, I mean, it's
The way it's
You go
happening
on
now.
TikTok and see it. It's, yeah.
Well, again, it's not very difficult, So you create that shop, and then certainly, if you don't want to get involved yourself, because you have to look at influencers and kind of send them up, sample whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But if you work with these folks, they basically actually identify key players out there that are willing to
Mm,
actually, and you can give a product for free. You can give, depends on the
sure.
product. You can give it at a discounted rate, whatever. There's different options. But now these people actually do the work, and they actually promote the products, and it's really getting commercials basically to thousands and
Huh.
millions of people. And there's a commission rate, so that gets split between the agents and those folks.
Sure.
But it sells your product. So if there is marketing, piece of it, it works. And again, just something, again, my wife is into it.
That's
She
good
she
to
works
know.
in
Yeah.
that, she's in that world too. So
Wow.
I learn with her.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, if you got any good ones, send them my way.
Well, so when you go to your shop,
Yep.
there's actually on the when you go on the computers, there is the ability to look at agencies, and
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah, you'll see them there, or influencers. You can pick influencers or agencies, and you
I
can
have done that before. Yep. Okay.
yes. So
Whoops.
if you take the agencies, you can determine what rates you pay them. They usually like 20%, whatever, 30%.
Mm-hmm.
So you mark up your price correctly, and you put it in there, and they do the work. So you just have to be available. Now TikTok is very picky. If you get an order, it's like 3 days, and if you're not, they'll
That's what
drop
I
your
heard.
yeah, they'll drop your
Yeah.
product. So there's a lot of stuff that goes crazy there. And if let's say the influencer states the wrong stuff, they'll put them off. They give them violations.
Mm,
There's some rules, and Amazon has rules too. So everybody, if
yeah.
you got to be on a platform, you just got to know how to do it and operate within the norms. But it's definitely, I mean, a big place, a big market, and people are
Yeah.
selling left and right in there. So,
Yeah, and I've messaged, you can go on that influencer site to message them, and I've had some respond, but not as many, it's like I'm very picky about who I'm messaging, like, okay, my person who would be, the perfect one, but I need to just try again. It's been a while since I've been on TikTok trying to sell
but
products.
again, you have great products. So that's just another venue. I mean, again,
Yeah.
you gotta expand different ways. Now again,
Right.
it may work, it may not work, and that's the thing. But I've seen almost every potential product out there. And by the way, they have infrared, like red light
Yeah.
therapy masks. They have different things. So they have different products. So the better quality always wins. And
Mm-hmm.
these guys, they promote the stuff because basically what they tell them, you have 2 weeks to promote this product. It's not
Oh, sure.
once you get it, it's not like I don't like it, I'm not going to promote it. So that's kind of like the commitment with TikTok Shop. That if you get a
Gotcha.
product from a seller, that means you have to promote it within the time frame and create a video or whatever, and you put the conditions as well. So it kind of makes your rules
Makes it.
apply, and some people will actually see the value of your products and they'll promote them. So
It's
and
great.
there's great value there. So again,
Mm-hmm.
but for our audiences, folks, this is the business part that is very difficult. And I commend everyone who actually takes the initiative and the leap, and it's not just a leap of faith, it's a lot of work that takes place and a lot of sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, it's not easy, folks, and that's all there is.
No.
Now, what would you tell our audiences? Just steps that they can kind of do stuff with, to maybe avoid, and or like what would be an advice for them about business if they're interested in it?
You know, I think no matter what, like if you truly are passionate about something and want to start a business, just do something, just start. Even if things aren't perfect, I know some people want to start these websites and they're passionate about something and they spend a year developing this website. Well, you need to start, you need to just start. So, as far as there's going to be something, it's not if something happens and if something goes wrong, it's when it's going to go wrong. You just have to know that and have the mindset of things are going good now. When something goes wrong, and just deal with it and pivot if you need to. It's not if. I mean, as an entrepreneur, there's always going to be fires to put out. There's always going to be things that go wrong. But the highs are high and the lows are low, and you just, it is a roller coaster, but you get through it, and in the long run, you'll be a better person. And if anything, you would have learned something. So as long as you're always learning, it's a positive thing.
Super. That's a powerful message because again, I think you said it best is that a lot of people are afraid to start, a business, so they want to have everything perfect. We've covered this multiple times, and you hear it a lot of, in business talk shows. And that's really what it is. You do not need to have everything to start. You just need to have the basics to start, and the will, and the actual, patience, because it's gonna take patience, effort, time, energy, money to do a lot of things. And you might not have a lot of capital to start with, so you have to work, with minimal stuff to get, where you need, and you have to be creative. And there's a lot of
Yeah.
technology out there. You can use AI now. You can use websites that are pre-designed. There's things you can get started almost, with a fraction of the cost. And I'm not like, the folks that say like, oh, you can start a website for $0. You can, but it will not do the functions that you want, especially if you're going to have
Exactly.
commerce things. So I just when you tell somebody, a tip, give them the whole thing, give them the whole picture. Yeah, you can get a free website, and then it will be just like a visual website. You can have a couple pages, and people can look at your information. But if you want to have, payments and mailing
Right.
and marketing and all the tools, it's going to cost you a couple $100 a month if you have one of those, a subscription website, or you can design it and then you have to host it and all stuff. So it's pretty out there. Now they have even AI websites now that you can design almost with a click. And but you still have
Oh,
to
I
know
bet.
well, you have to know what you're doing and stuff. And but again, if you want to
Right.
start with something, you can always transit your website. You can always shift, from a provider to another. But you get to start. That's the whole thing. And,
Yep.
and that's a big one for a lot of people. They want to be in business, but they don't know where to start and whether they should start. And the picture's never going to be perfect up front.
No.
Even the biggest companies today, Amazon, they didn't figure out day one.
Yep.
You know,
Absolutely.
Facebook didn't figure out phase one. So yeah, you were going to say something. Sorry, Tammy.
Well, it was just when you say, you can do one thing and go to the next. That's exactly what I did. My first website was GoDaddy, because it was easy to put it together, and then of course I did switch to Shopify, but I didn't know any better, and it was a website, and but yeah, my first one was GoDaddy. I mean, it was probably, I think, $30 a month, maybe cheaper actually. And then switch to Shopify. So yeah, just start. That's all you got to do.
Even Shopify, they have the 30,000. They have the professional one that's more. And
Yeah,
you can have them build it for you. You can build your own. I mean, if you build on your own, you got to know what to do because it gets a little complex with the
it's
pictures, the
very
themes and
complex.
stuff.
Yeah.
Again, I've actually dabbled with all this stuff. I've created Shopify, sites, and I've created, personal sites, for different businesses. Using Wix, for example, is pretty common. WordPress is another format, website that people can design. There's many things, or you can just get a third party to just get it done. Now, again, when your business is up and running and you are generating revenue, you can allocate, reassign someone to. Matter of fact, if you're big enough, you can have your own website, team to just build your stuff and you do the whole thing
Yeah.
for you. So that's the thing. But you start. I mean, again, humans, we start by just crawling and then slowly, standing up and fall in, and then walking slowly. Then we stand tall, right? And that's life, right? And the same thing in business. You can't expect it to be up there unless you have millions to start with, and even that doesn't guarantee you're going to get a good success, up front. So again, folks, great, thank you, Tammy, for talking about like the business concept, because many people have this feeling that it's difficult, or they want it perfect, and that it's going to succeed at the first month. Maybe there's a 1%, not even, that actually gets it right the first time. And you know
Right.
what? If you are that 1%, God bless, right? But it's not always the case. Many
Mm-hmm.
of them, many people are failing multiple times, many businesses, and switching
Yes.
concepts and changing products and this and the other, only to get into. But here's the thing: you said it. You learn, and as
You learn.
you learn. That means you're not failing. You're learning different things, different ways, and you're improving your skills. You're improving your way, and you're gonna figure it out. You get into the trenches. I mean,
Yeah.
you look at more things. Again, this when I mentioned the expo. it was a whole when we started. I mean, we had no clue where we were in as an industry. When we got there, we found everything from the manufacture, from the bottles, from the technologies that you can use, from the labeling, from the marketing agencies, from the. I mean, you can have everything pre-done for you. Whether you want makeup, you want if you think it cosmetically and beauty wise, they have it. I mean, it's that
Yeah.
crazy, and you'd be surprised how big that the industry is. So it's amazing. But if you're not in something, you don't know. So you
Yeah.
got to get in.
Yeah.
You got to be in it to win it, as they say, right? So that's all there is. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well. So now, how this whole thing helped you with your work-life balance? Because it was all about your family. Because the whole thing is the concept of yours is that you wanted to bring this to family, so everybody can
Yep.
live and work, enjoy their health and wellness at home with that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How did that impact your life personally?
It, you know, going through all of this, I've learned so much about wellness. I mean, like I said, I always try to be healthy. I mean, well, over the last 10 years at least, I mean, not in my younger days. But it's made me slow down and realize just how precious our health is. Our health is really the most important thing. Life is short, and finding that out, with my husband's parents' ailments and stuff, and they scrimped and saved, and they weren't healthy, and they got sick and ended up in nursing homes, and everything that she didn't do because she was scrimping and saving. Just go do it and be healthy while you're doing it, though. So it's made me slow down and just relax and take time for myself. Usually the time is at night still, but I still do it. It's made me read so many more books that are, about health and wellness and meditation and manifestation and things like that. Before this journey, I hadn't picked up a book in years, except for a real estate book, I suppose. But so yeah, it's just made me slow down and just value our health a lot more than I did.
Well, that's another powerful message, folks. I mean, here's the thing: we are going to live whatever is meant to be in terms of lifespan, right? I mean, again, for those of us that believe in that we are here for a period of time and then we depart. I mean, that's all there is. And then that's one certain thing in life is death, right? So we can't hide from it. We can't shy away from it. It's a fact, right? So we all gonna, perish or expire as in the clinical terms. That's how they refer to it in healthcare, believe it or not. But certainly when we go, we go. But the question is, how do we live? Do we live a vital life, excited life? Do we enjoy our life, while we have our, capabilities? Because that's the other thing. You never know what can hit you, and then you can't do things that you actually used to do. There's no
Right.
way. Your body is not going to be physically able to do certain things. You will be frail eventually if you get to an older age. That the question is, how do you get there? How long does it take you? Do you get there sooner or do you get there
Mm-hmm.
later? You can go through your lifespan with a very active lifestyle and stuff, and that's important. But not everybody has that. See, that's the thing. Some people they as you said they don't even see the world. I mean, that's the other thing. Enjoy life. There's quite a few
Mm-hmm.
things. This it's worth enjoying, and every moment is not you're not getting back. This split second is gone. It's not coming back, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, again, an exercise I every now and then I throw this to people. Look at your life, whatever you are today, and reflect back. From the minute you realize that you existed to now, you probably can flash that whole thing in your mind in less than 2 minutes. That's life. So how
Mm-hmm.
far are you ahead? Is it a minute and a half? Is it 2 minutes more? I don't know. But whatever it is, you got to look at that as a concept, and you know what? Enjoy it. But look at what would make you happy. Make sure you do all the good things for yourself. Stay healthy and well, because that's the most ultimate thing. Don't ruin your health. And you know what? If you're aware, then you're aware. Now you know. I mean, again, we all had those days where we didn't know better, right? And that's all good. But once you know, again, the matrix, red pill, blue pill, you get the red pill, you're awake. Now you know. So now you know what to do. So just do it, and it's never too late. Now that could be a problematic word because it could be too late if things have gone bad. But
Right.
even in that rate, I've had talks where our immune system is capable to turn things. Our bodies are really genius.
Yes.
I mean, they can turn things around with the right, food, the right, nutrition, the right exercise, the right things. So these tools that you have, exfoliation, red light therapy, all these things can make a big difference in your own health and generate, a life that is better and healthier. And you can do more. You can enjoy your family more. You can do more with your
Hmm.
kids. You can, just be happier as opposed to being depressed and, not in a good place. So again, thank you for really sharing that because that's a big one also. I mean, so we've covered quite a bit of angles here from the health, the wellness, the food, the the business,
Yeah.
tactics. It's pretty cool, that when I love when someone is really studying, a whole business, with a concept that is always going to benefit people. And I think we should encourage more people that we need more sustainable businesses that actually look at our health and wellness. So you can generate funds, you can generate money in business world while doing a good thing and and being a good product out there, great service. Also for those people who have services. So if you're out there and you want to do for it. As you said, just do
Hmm.
it. Again, we quote Nike here because that's their trademark. Just to make sure.
Absolutely. I was going to say too, piggyback on, your, what you said, it's powerful. But my favorite quote in the entire world is do something today that your future self will thank you for. And I think about that quote all the time because it can be in your health, it can be in your business, it can be in your personal life, anything. That quote is just so powerful. And it's true, just do something today that your future self will thank you for. That's just,
Well, it is up there in the top ones, and actually it doesn't fail because you're right. As long as you live, you want to be better, and whatever today makes
hmm,
the next phase of your life, determined, right? So you want to know to do the right thing now so you can have a better next one. And you don't want that next you to tell you like, what the hell happened there? What did you mess up with me? And a lot of us have
right.
done that already. I mean, early days,
Yeah.
and that's the thing, like I have younger kids. So it's very difficult when you talk to the younger folks because they don't believe that things can go wrong because they haven't
No.
experienced. They have
Right.
all the faith in the world that everything's going to be always peachy, which, if you lived long enough, that is not the case. So expect that things
Right.
can go wrong. So how do you prevent them? Well, there's ways to prevent that. Now, maybe you're not going to feel ill today because your body is still got all the capabilities. But as your metabolism changes, as you ages, you know, everything starts changing. So if you didn't build a good foundation, it's like building a skyscraper with a very weak, foundation. It's what's going to happen. At the
Hmm.
first tremor, that thing is going to drop. Well, that's exactly what happens with our bodies. If we treat our body like garbage and put in all the wrong stuff in, within, and so it's only a matter of time where your body's going to like, oops, I am not going to operate the way you want me to do because you didn't treat me right, and now you have a problem because you can't move your body because your body's not
Yeah.
responding anymore, right? So we don't want that. We want to be alive, and so again,
Hmm.
here's the good news: always you whenever you are, wherever you are, today is a good day to start. And if you're already doing, continue doing and do better. If not, begin. That's all. So there is no time frame or there's no, oh my God, I can't do it. Again, the key to start. And if you start, people stop smoking, people stop drugs, people start, alcohol, people stop bad things, bad food and stuff, and they turn a new leaf and they're much healthier and doing better and living a better life. And that's the
Yeah.
thing. You want to live happier with less problems and complications. That's it. And if you do get into business, there is a life balance thing. You got to take care of yourself because business will suck you dry if you don't do that too. So you have to know how
Hmm.
to play this card of balance, and you can do it. There's tools out there and there's products out there that can help you do it. Wow. So I know I think we've
Yes.
exceeded the hours. So what would you leave our audiences with? I mean, I know that quote was powerful. Anything else you want to add to our audiences before we close our show today?
Just reiterating that self-care isn't selfish. You need to take care of yourself first. And whether, even if you don't, if you don't have the money for red light therapy or anything like that, there's so many other things that you can do that don't cost any money. You can go outside with your bare feet and ground yourself. Grounding yourself is powerful. That reduces inflammation, and that costs nothing. You just go on the grass and you sit and lay on the grass. There's, journaling, just a lot of things that you can do that don't cost any money, that just helps as well if you can't afford other things. Our website also has a lot of blog posts that talks about a whole bunch of wellness issues that you might have, or questions that you might have, or things that you never thought about sleeping, things like that, getting enough sleep. That's huge for health. So I just leave with there's a lot of things you can do that do not cost any money at all. And with this world that we're living in and all the information at our fingertips, there's no reason not to know about all the awesome things that you can do to stay healthy.
And that's actually a great, way of closing our show. But before we do that, just one last thing. The website is happysoulwellness.com, right?
Yep. Yep.
All right. And so everything is there. If people can go there, or you can go to Amazon as well, right? And they can check out the products.
Yeah, and it's a Happy Soul, SOL. Soul as in sun, and light is how I came up with the name. So, and our Instagram is at Happy Soul WI. If they want to check us out on Facebook too, we're Happy Soul Wellness. So we have lots of information on our website and Instagram and Facebook too.
Listen, Tammy, it was awesome having you on the show and sharing with us your story, your journey, your business, your success, as well as your difficult times, that got you to here. So wish you the best and the continuation of much success and greater success, of course. And I know that that's going to be the case, because you don't strike me like someone that's going to stop anytime soon. You're going to continue doing this.
No.
And whatever we can do from our side here to help you and assist as well, we'll continue doing it. Again, my guests are, for life, so we're, as long as this media company is going to exist, your products and in your company is going to be always highlighted. And so we'll continue with that. And, folks, again, you look at the sites, see what's out there for you. There's definitely products that are very affordable, that can make a difference to your health. Check them out. And at least the information is available and it's free. So that's something there's no charge for. So do check out the site, please. All right. Well, so that's it. I'm Eric Dinesh. Hope you enjoyed our show today. We'll be talking soon. And then show on the topic. Bye for now.